Welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight I am joined by my very good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. And we also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Fellas, I'm excited for this podcast.
Yeah,
Long
time coming.
If you're listening, unless it just started playing on autoplay because the last episode finished and you don't know what we're talking about, more than likely you've seen the title. And you have seen that we're doing a retro review. No big deal.
Our second retro review.
That's true. I was actually curious how many of these
We've only done two, and this is the second one. Okay. Number one is the Avatar. The first movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe we gotta do more of them, man.
We need to. It's fun, man.
Yeah. So it is a retro review of Rogue One, which is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time, or the second greatest, one of the two. And we are. The reason we're doing it is part of our anticipation for Andors season 2.
That's right.
Comes out at the end of this month. We're fired up. Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
We are really excited. So, but before we get into our retro review, big shout out to all of our listeners, all of our friends, everybody who tunes in on the reg. We really appreciate you guys. We want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Please share this podcast with your friends. Anybody, look, you probably got some Star Wars fans or Star Wars friends, that you nerd out with. You're talking about Star Wars. You're excited that Andor's coming back. We get it. We're excited too. Here's what you can do to help us out. Hit that little share button. Just hit that little share button on whatever podcast app you're using and share this podcast with your friends, because Rogue One really is, I joked about it being the greatest Star Wars movie. For me, I like it the most. But, yeah, help us out. Share this podcast with your friends, with your Star Wars buddies. It means a lot to us. I guess, we'll just... I don't want to say spoiler warning because this movie's been out
since a while, yeah.
What, 2016?
And since 2016, 9 years. So
yeah. So, man, where do we begin? I don't want to get into the review of the movie just yet. Maybe let's just talk about maybe what Rogue One meant to us as Star Wars fans, especially you guys. Admittedly, you guys are bigger Star Wars fans than I am. I'm not a massive Star Wars guy, but
yeah,
y'all are.
I think it was definitely like the high point of the new universe of Star Wars, in the sense of like
including
in the
third
movie
right?
universe, and
Yeah.
in the sense of because you had Force Awakens, which kind of like was liftoff, and then you had Rogue One that kind of was like the peak point,
Yeah.
and then everything else.
You don't have to say anything else.
There is mixed reviews for everything else that is out there, and how it is perceived.
Yeah.
But it was like it was this idea of kind of like what Justin usually likes to say is Marvel back? Well, it was very much like, is Star Wars back?
Yeah.
Because at this point it was so good, and it came off the backing of such a it was a surprising performance by The Force Awakens, I believe, at that point, because we were like, it had been a while since we had seen anything Star Wars, and we were kind of like, how is it going to come out with this new story being ahead and everything like that? And then Force Awakens was, a bit of a breath of fresh air, and then to kind of get this new Star Wars lifting off, and then Rogue One was just like next level.
Yeah, I remember going into Rogue One being kind of confused at first with in 2015 we had Force Awakens,
yes,
and we were like, okay, new future, right, for the Star Wars universe, and then only for the next year to take a step back, and
prequel.
Prequel, and go back to before Episode 4. I was confused at first, and then luckily the quality of content matched
yes
our anticipation for any Star Wars content in general. So I was excited to be able to see that.
Yeah, I think it's also important to mention the fact that this was the first entry into the Star Wars headcanon that was not in the straight linear path of the Skywalker saga. Because even when you're talking about like the Clone Wars and things like that, those, although they have been like pulled in a lot of ways, a lot of that stuff was not there yet.
I think Rogue One added to the Skywalker saga. It added that extra seasoning of what we needed to kind of like put this all together and make it cohesive.
There was a Skywalker in it.
Yeah, there was.
In a-
Yeah,
in a-
absolutely.
in a pretty sick way.
There was.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
We
No,
were-
technically there was 2 Skywalkers in it because
Yeah.
of
The other one, yes.
Leia as well. So
That's fair.
yeah, don't forget that.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, dude, it was it satisfied every single Star Wars fandom need
Mhm.
that there was out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was special. It was
Yeah.
special.
That's good, man. That's good. So again, I'm not a big star. I'm not. Well, I enjoy Star Wars, but you guys are fanatics. I'm more casual, right? And I think our listeners are loyal listeners, right? They know that about me, and I'm open about that. But I do enjoy it. And I will say this: I was talking to my wife before this podcast. We had to obviously we rewatched Rogue One in preparation for this, and I told her I was like, here's one of the many things that's special about Rogue One. Rogue One is one of the reasons that whether it's Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, you name the geek universe, Rogue One is one of the reasons that I still come back to doing this stuff. Because I didn't, like you were saying, like we didn't know much about what the story was about, but we just showed up to the theater and I was blown away.
Yeah.
And I think Rogue One is a testament to, like, the next time there's a Marvel movie or a DC movie or whatever that comes out and we're like, yeah, we'll see. In the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe it's another Rogue One.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's rebellions are built on hope.
Yeah, you're right.
Good movies in the theater, hopefully, are built on hope.
Built
right?
on hope, man. Built
Yep.
on hope.
So for me, it was, it's really, I mean, again, it's like it is my favorite Star Wars movie. So
Yeah.
um,
No, you are 100% justified in having that as your favorite movie. Like for me, it's up there. It's like top 3 for me. Like
Yeah,
there's
I feel like there's
yeah.
conversations that you
for
can
sure,
have.
for sure.
For sure. It is by far the best since Revenge of the Sith. And then going back past
Yeah.
that, it is like you can. I would be okay with having debates.
Yeah.
yeah. And what's cool about it is the fact that it's not like a main storyline movie, and it's not a part of the direct
yeah.
Skywalker saga, is what I mean.
It's funny because we're like it's a spin-off, but it's like
But it is crucial.
It's so crucial. Like
It
you feel like
is.
it's not a main
You know what I
storyline,
mean.
but it turns
You know what I
into
mean.
a main storyline.
It's not a part of a
Like,
trilogy.
Right.
It's a non-trilogy movie.
It's literally a one-off, but actually it wasn't because we get a whole entire Andor series leading up to it, which is
right,
why we're doing
yeah.
this review in the first place, and we're going to have
That's
to
a
get
fair
season
point.
2, which leads directly into the events
Yes.
that take place here in Rogue One.
And so, like, the whole story of Rogue One all comes down to Galen Erso.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
That's where we
so
start the movie.
Mads
Mikkelsen,
Mikkelsen.
yep.
Nicholson, right?
Phenomenal actor.
Phenomenal actor.
Whose brother goes up to be General Thrawn or Admiral Thrawn.
Wait, what did you say? His
Oh,
what?
yeah, his brother. Yes,
Oh, his
yes.
brother.
Yes.
Lars Mikkelsen.
Yeah, that's
is
right,
is General Thrawn.
But anyways,
Admiral Thrawn.
Galen Erso.
Yes.
It all comes down to his skill set, his powerful mind, right?
Yes.
And it's incredible what he was able to conceptualize as a scientist and then create.
Yeah.
And it just makes me think, Justin Shamato, was Galen Erso drinking Magic Mind
Ooh, baby.
in a galaxy far, far away? Seriously, think about it. He created the Death Star. Now, look, that's certainly controversial, right? But there's no doubt that he had a powerful mind. He was waking up every day, drinking some Magic Mind, getting the most out of it, and taking his mental performance shot every day. And that's how he was such a great scientist.
Yeah, and so for me, when I take Magic Mind, I mean, it really does feel like mental performance. So like our enemy in life is distractions, right? Like distractions
Totally.
from our phone, distractions like it can be so many different things nowadays that distract you from what you're doing, right? And for me, having a work from home job, the distractions are real, man. And when I take my Magic Mind, it dials me in. I'm locked in. I'm 100% focused on my mission, my task at hand, and I really appreciate the fact that it is 100% safe. All ingredients are third party tested and sourced from our best the best suppliers out there in order to make the best product available. And it's not like a quick fix or anything like that. Like it is something that you can use to better your working habits in order to focus and dial in and really truly like get the best out of your day, to be honest with you. And
Right.
and you know what, I dude, it's what's solidified it for me was it's doctor validated, man. Like it was created with a scientific advisory board of doctors and medical researchers in order to develop a formula that is good for mental performance, dude. Like that makes me feel better. That the fact that there was a bunch of doctors working
People
on
much
this,
smarter than you is what you're saying.
way smarter than me, in order to do this. And you know what? Initially, you're like, will this work? Will this actually like help me? I'm telling you guys, you take this thing, dude. 3 days minimum. You'll feel the effects,
right.
dude. It's fantastic.
Get
You
the
really got to get in your
best-
system.
You get the best use out of it by doing it on a daily routine. Really, just adding it to your routine.
Exactly.
It's not just a coffee or energy drink replacement. You want to add. You want to supplement this to what you're already doing, and I think you'll be really blessed by it. You'll get some great mental focus, and it will be worth it. So here's what you do: if you want to try out Magic Mind yourself, we have a limited time offer for you. Okay, here's what you got to do. For you to get up to 48% off of your first subscription or 20% off one-time purchases, you got to go to magicmind.com/RoyalLT20 and then use that code RoyalLT20 at checkout to get your massive savings, whether it's 48% off your first subscription or 20% off one-time purchases. Use our code RoyalLT20 once you go to the link, magicmind.com/RoyalLT20. Okay? So check it out. Magic Mind, our friends at Magic Mind. Shout out to them. And shout out to Star Wars. Shout out to Galen Erso for putting in a failsafe
Yes.
on the Death Star, right?
Exactly.
That's what it all comes down to, this whole story.
Yeah, it's the whole story. And I found it interesting that this kicks off with Galen looking like rustic and like farmer, right?
Nomad over
Yeah,
here.
nomad. And they're like, oh, they're here for me. They're here. Like we gotta scatter, right? And when Ben Mendelsohn, phenomenal as director Krennic, yes, phenomenal here. Ben Mendelsohn, this was really like his coming out, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
it was this and his small role in the Dark Knight. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, Dark Knight. Oh yeah, Dark Knight Rises. Yes, correct. But then like him talking to Galen Erso, Mad Mickelson, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm here alone. Like my wife's died, like that kind of thing, right? But then she comes
Doesn't
running
die.
out, like,
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Like I'm like, wait, hold on. Why did she come running out? Like that was like one of those like, wait, there was no point for that. You could have like hid,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But she does come out only to be killed, and
Yeah.
it was just
well, it was all because like if she had stayed hidden, he would have been taken. So I think she was taking that chance that like that her mind wasn't working at that moment, and like she was just like, there's her choices were either live without him or die with him, and I think that was her choice. Was she would rather die with the possibility of being with him than live without him.
It sucks that Jin watched this whole thing go down too. Like,
Yeah,
as
it's a
a
little rough.
child.
I think in
Yeah.
that moment she's kind of got to be like, I have a daughter that I need to take care of. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. You feel so bad for
Yeah.
Chen, dude. As
Her
a kid.
maternal instincts did not kick in for Lyra or Lyra.
Yeah, they
or
should
whatever.
both have been in that little, hatch door.
yes,
Correct. Yes.
Saul
I
should
agree.
be saving both of them, but instead he just saves Jin.
Yeah, exactly. And then we do see her in the hatch door and Saw
Yeah.
save her, and then she automatically in like a prison cell, right?
Yeah, we learn 15 years later.
Yeah, there you go.
She's, one of the many people probably unjustly arrested by the Empire.
or justly,
Or justly, maybe.
Like I feel like she was more justly probably.
Yeah, she had some spunk, didn't she?
Yes, I think at this moment she was a legitimate criminal, like to the sense of like she was doing things that she probably shouldn't have been doing. But it was also one of those things where she was probably doing things she shouldn't be doing because the government at hand was not doing their job in providing opportunities for her to do things legitimately.
Sure, yeah. And
Yeah.
just the Star Wars universe is just, man, it's the Wild Wild West.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Wild Wild West, and we see her being transported, and the transport stops, and the door opens, and people come in, and they're like unlock her, and she like fights them,
Yes.
and like beats
Tries
them
to
down,
escape.
tries to escape, and K2SO or droid like picks her up and slams
Yeah.
her down. Congratulations, you're being
You're
rescued.
being rescued.
And
Yes.
dude, you're right. Wild Wild West there. Like she was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take this to my advantage and like get out of here. But in all actuality,
They were
like,
there for her.
They were,
Yeah,
they were there for
but
her.
also like in that moment, like she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't
that.
know they're trying
Yeah.
to save him.
And that's what I mean.
You
The
know,
whole
like
universe is like you can't trust anybody. So
No.
her first instinct is like, well, I mean, they're, yeah, they stopped the convoy, but I'm not just trusting whoever these people are. you
Right.
know?
Yes.
yeah, for all you know, they're from someone you wronged or something along those lines, and they're here to kill
Exactly.
you in another way.
Exactly. But yeah, we do get an amazing introduction of K2SO, who
Yes.
ends up stealing one of the many things, great things about this
he
movie.
steals this movie.
Yes.
Like,
Steals the show.
he's a
Essentially,
huge part.
anytime there's a droid, they steal the show. Like it is.
It's Star Wars is notorious for droid success.
Yes.
It really is.
But he might be, I mean, ranking the droids.
Dude,
He's up there.
It's like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Like it's tough. We might need to have a droid episode. I don't know.
Ooh, dude,
Inspired.
that's a good
It's
episode.
inspiring. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
That's a good
I mean,
episode. Don't go too far down the rabbit hole here,
yes.
Shamato. I know you. You're tempted to go far down.
He's
this.
ready.
He's
Shimano's
ready.
locked
He
and
was ready
loaded
to
here.
jump
No,
in
no,
that
no,
rabbit
no.
hole, man. We're gonna pause. We're gonna come back to that, dude. We are coming back to that. But no, what an intro for K2SO. He steals the show. His. My wife said this earlier. His comedic timing. Like sometimes it's just. She said like sometimes comic relief. It's like yeah, it's okay. It's maybe a little cheesy, and it's like no. Every single time he's there for comedic relief, it hits.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Dude,
Yes.
your wife sounds like she's got it going on, man.
She does.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so she gets brought to the Alliance, the quote unquote
Rebel Alliance.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, we know who you are. You're actually the daughter.
Jen Urso.
Yeah, you're the daughter of Galen, and we need your help to get access to Saw Gerrera, basically.
Yeah, so this is maybe the first time we realize the scale of what Galen. Well, no, actually, in the first scene, Krennic is confronting him about the things he's creating.
Yeah.
Smart fans, not me, smart enough to know it's the Death Star, right?
Yeah.
But you see the magnitude of the Rebel Alliance doesn't exactly know what he's created, but they know that he's created a very dangerous weapon.
Yes.
Yes.
And in their mind, Galen Erso is a massive threat.
Yes, he's a big
Yes.
deal. He is a huge threat for sure, and I think the way that they do it by going after the daughter, fine. They know that she is a big deal as well because of her last name, right, Urso. But then we kind of get the shift of this introduction to Andor, and he is kind of in the
that's right.
city, the slums,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Meeting up with a contact, meeting up with somebody who has information, right? He's like, it's a weapon, right? He mentions that
News from Jeddah.
there's a pilot that defected, and there's a weapon that he's talking about. You need to that's the information I have. Like he's so skittish, right? He's so
So scared.
yeah. He's so scared. And then, dude, I forgot.
That he straight MDK's the dude.
Yes, how
Yes.
cold-blooded
Yes.
freaking Andor is,
It's
man.
the introduction of
And-
like him as a cold-blooded
Right,
dude.
correct. And the character progression that we're gonna see to get Andor from where he's at now
Yes.
currently to where he is cold-blooded enough to just kill this guy. He's like, hey, calm down. It's okay. Just calm down. And then boom, shoots him in the back to kill the guy. Dude, I can't wait for Andor season 2, man. There's gonna be some character
Which
development.
again we see in Andor season 1
Yeah.
how ruthless he can be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He
Yes.
takes out those two guards. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think is it in this movie where or maybe it was in season 1, but I can't remember where he talks about just he's had to do bad things.
He said he does say as they're leaving, he's like the things that I've had to do for this rebellion.
Right. So it's like his hands are dirty.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Everyone's hands are covered in blood in this. It's war.
Yeah.
It's war. And to some extent you have to be ruthless, right?
He's been doing it since he was 6 years old. He
Yeah.
mentions, and
does.
how do you not have moments like this when you've been fighting this battle for your like entire
Yeah,
life.
it's your
Yeah.
existence. It's literally your entire
Yeah,
existence.
exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly.
So basically, they go on this mission. His initial mission is to authenticate this story, find Galen Erso, and they say bring him back to the Senate for testifying. Really, he's given another mission to kill Galen Erso because
Yeah.
again, they view Galen as a massive threat.
Correct.
What they don't know is that the Death Star is already complete. So what Galen doesn't necessarily matter anymore, right?
Right.
But they don't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we just get this movie. You know, they go to Jeddah City. They run into other characters that join the group.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
and
pilot, the defective pilot.
Well, the defector pilot,
Mhm.
and then also Shiru Imwe,
That's right.
our
dude.
boy Donnie Yen,
Right, Donnie.
another
Donnie Yen.
blind
Gosh.
badass, right?
Yes, he is. Absolutely, man.
Like just incredible.
Yes, and Baz,
and then
right?
Baze.
Baze,
Yep.
yes, Baze.
And just like I think again, I'm going to pause right here. We could talk about these characters in detail here in a second, but I think again, one of the things I love about this movie is it's an ensemble.
Yes, it
Yes.
is. Yes.
It's not just one superstar leading the way, one main character. It's obviously like Jen's the focal point,
Yeah.
but it's an ensemble. Everyone has an incredible role. The way they just kind of happen to come together,
Right.
it's
I
beautiful.
mean, even from the introduction of Chirrut, like the fact that he's sitting there meditating and he's like shooting, like throwing out, like
about her necklace.
yeah, your necklace. And she's like, "How do you not have a necklace?" And he's like, he goes into like this like street merchant slash like crazed religious like zealot like to like.
He
then
said for that you have to pay, I have to charge you.
Yes,
tell you
yes,
that
yes.
secret.
Exactly, yeah. And then by the end of the movie, though, you're like, dude, he was that guy, man. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
had 100% faith in the Force, and
Yes.
it led him to where he is today. Like, I have a feeling that that first interaction with Jin, he knew his fate from their day one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
Maybe.
if, like, if that was a possibility. Like, he knew he was supposed to be where he was, you know?
Yeah. I love him and Baze's just continual banter and just like they're boys.
It was good, man.
Like from the first moment where we get introduced to how amazing those two are.
Yeah.
You know, when they save Andor and Jin. Andor says, "Is he Jedi?" And Baze says, "There are no Jedi here. This old crazy man or whatever like
Yeah.
him."
Yeah.
yeah, he like what is it? He says, what does he say? I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me, right?
Yes.
like, and dude.
When they're in the cell.
Oh yeah, in the
Well,
cell.
he says it like a bunch
He
of
says
times.
it a
That's
bunch
true,
of
he
times.
does,
Yeah,
you're right,
he
you're
says it
right.
a bunch of times. He says it when like there's that little like
Anytime he's
skirmish.
in
Yeah.
anytime that he is in
He's like
danger.
praying. He's
Yeah,
praying.
Yes.
But this was the moment for me that was like, okay, we are in the Star Wars universe. We're locked in. Like the Force is mentioned. We have somebody who is kind of in tune with the Force. Like this
Force
is kind
sensitive.
of yeah. Which for me, like in 2016, in this moment, it was like, okay, he's not a Jedi, but the Force exists still. Like it was kind of that eye-opening moment for me. Like, okay, I've seen moments of this in kind of like Star Wars, Clone Wars series, like, but this is kind of that big moment, that eye-opening moment. Like, okay, he's Force sensitive, but he's not actually a Jedi. Like, that's a possibility in this universe. That was it for me.
Yeah, man. Steals the show.
It does, yeah, it does.
Everybody steals the show, I guess, in this.
Yeah,
movie.
and you know what? I remember the criticism when this movie came out is like it's a good movie, but you don't remember the characters' names. No, I remember these characters' names, man. Like they came into it, man. They evolved like
Yeah.
from
But
their
see,
introduction.
that's what makes them. Even if you don't, that's cool that you do. But I get people who might say that. Even if you don't, that's what's beautiful.
Yeah.
The mission.
The mission is more than their
The
name.
mission is the character, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, but
the
like
most
the
important
mission
thing.
is above their names.
Yeah,
Like,
getting
it
the
doesn't
message out,
matter.
accomplishing the mission. Dude, there's no happy ending. Well, I mean, there's no like nobody gets out. Everybody dies.
Yes, correct.
Glad we gave the spoiler warning, right? Like
Right.
everybody dies, and I love that.
Yeah.
I do. I love that nobody escaped.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there is no like last minute like someone saving them.
No
or
happy
they find,
ending.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
find some way, or some of them survive somehow.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
was they knew what they were getting into from the very beginning,
Right.
because it's a view of the world that we haven't seen a whole lot in the Star Wars, because everything's been from essentially the like top characters, like the top players in the galaxy. Like where even if you consider him starting as a boy on Tatooine, like I mean, Luke is still a top character. Like he
Right.
becomes, a super strong Jedi and like all this kind of stuff. He becomes that. But like this movie is about people who are all like in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's a good point. Not a single one of these characters have that Skywalker
No.
presence.
No, and literally, like the Andor show, which is the reason we're talking about this movie tonight, the Andor show exists because this movie was so good.
Yes.
If you think about it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
really
you're
does.
right. You're right.
Because who would have thought that Cassian Andor would have been your leading man in a TV series?
Yeah.
No,
No, you're right. You would not picture that at all. And we see the stakes, how high they are when they do escape the was it Jeddah, right? When they escape that, when the planet is literally like torn apart.
It's literally a nuclear bomb essentially
Yes,
goes
correct.
off.
And we see
Yes.
Saw gets destroyed with his planet. Right?
Yeah.
Like he goes down with the ship, basically, right? And then Andor's like, okay, well, we need to kind of regroup and figure out. Like, let's get Galen. Let's go to Galen. Like,
Go to Edu or
yep,
whatever it's called.
Edu, yep. And that's when we see the second mission directive where Andor is to take out Galen. And then they get to Edu, and I love how Andor goes out and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go this way up top to the top of the mountain. You
Yeah.
guys go down below,
He's
right?"
being deceptive.
And Jin is in the ship, and it's freaking our boy Chirrut. Like he's like, "There's a dark cloud of the Force, which has a
Does he look
murderous
like a
intent."
killer?
Yeah. Does he look like a killer? Yeah, he brings that up, and she's like, "Oh shoot, I gotta go save the day." Right?
USO's like his sniper or his weapon was configured in sniper mode.
Gosh, dude, man, but the decision here of watching Andor, have sights on Galen, and then choose not to.
The internal strife.
Yes.
It brought me immediately back to Andor season 1 and like his humanity before it was stripped away. Like his humanity, it's still there, and it's still present to this day in Rogue One. It's great.
Yeah, and like you even though he very much in that first street scene seems like he has zero emotion,
Yeah,
zero
cold-blooded,
like
right?
he's super cold blooded, but there's still something there. He is redeemable in a way.
Yeah,
And you're glad he waited a few seconds to see what was going on in that bridge.
correct. Yes.
You know?
Yeah. He stalled for himself, to be honest with you. Like he was
he was
waiting
saving
to
his
see
soul in a
how
way.
it unfolded. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Galen has a tragic death scene, which I mean,
Heartbreaking.
Mads Mikkelsen, man, dude, this is it right here for me. Like he had a phenomenal performance here as he's quote unquote dying. I know T-Roll, you mentioned off the pod, like his death
Posture?
the posture, yeah.
Yeah.
Leg bent back.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
like, why do they always do that,
yeah,
dude?
fully in that death mode. Fantastic, phenomenal. Mads pulled it off greatly.
I'm glad that he and Jin had that one moment. It was
Yes.
It was.
super brief.
Dude, the fact that his last words was like, "I have so much to tell you," and then he
And
dies.
that's
Like
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
Cold
Crushing.
blooded, dude.
Yes.
Hardcore. And then Jin saw the plans, right? She knows that the weakness of the Death Star, and they go back to the rebels, and they're like, "This is what the information is.
Right.
We need a plan." And Jin's like, "Our plan is to go now, right?" But she couldn't get enough backing, and they shut her down.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So just the bureaucracy of, the
red
rebel.
tape.
Yeah.
It's the red tape.
Yeah. But also like I'm trying to imagine again, trying to put myself in the shoes of everybody at that table. It's like they hadn't yet come out. Like there hasn't been a coming out party for the Rebel Alliance yet.
Yeah, and they know. I think at the moment they know that they are. That they have to be so calculated with every strike they make
Yes.
against the Empire that any misstep could be the end of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think is part of that. So they are very cautious in the sense that they don't know like what they can trust from what she's saying. First of all,
Yeah.
and
It's all firsthand. It's like
it's all firsthand.
what
and
she
it's-
says.
and all it would take would be something falling apart, and they're all either killed or captured by the Empire, and then probably tortured and killed. Like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot. There is some sympathy that you kind of got to take for a moment of how much they're putting their necks out just being in that room.
Yeah.
Because in a universe where the Empire
Spies
is
everywhere.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, and which we end up seeing, like, Jin ends up being a part of a rebellion inside of a rebellion, like, where
Yes.
they end up
Beautiful.
going against the words of
rushing nesting
yeah,
rebellions.
right, right, yeah, exactly.
They're
Like
heading to Scarif.
they head to Scarif, and Andor comes with his crew, which
Yeah.
is a lot more than I actually thought would actually join. If you count the bodies behind Andor, like it's actually a lot more than you think.
Yeah, foot soldiers.
Yes, and that's when we see the defective pilot. I forget his name. Bodhi.
Bodhi.
Right. Bodhi is. He has to come up with like the call sign in order to get out of there, and he's like Rogue, and there's like
Rogue One.
Rogue One,
Yes.
and
K2SO is like, Rogue One, let's go.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's go, and they get out of there. They end up heading to Scarif,
Yeah.
and their mission, their sole mission, is to get the information for the Death Star, the
Get it out,
plans,
yep.
and get it out and transmit it out.
Yeah. Now.
Yes, and they end up going through the shield barrier with codes that they thought might work,
Yeah.
and we kind of get the hope. We got to hope this
Yes,
is
yes.
the rebellion's built on hope, that kind of thing, right? And
Dude, the
And
amount
it's
of just
kinda-
like,
and it's a callback to like the idea of they're older codes, but they
Yeah.
do check out.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's
The-
a huge callback.
the amount of just gambles in this movie.
Huge gambles, man.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you know what? That kind of happens, man. That kind of happens. You take a chance on
Yes.
a whisper.
Yeah,
right?
well, there's like so there's this idea in when you're playing poker that if you are the person with the lower amount of money, it's actually more advantageous to be the more aggressive person, And I think that's kind of how they're looking at. Like they only have this little bit of money in their hands to do what they need to do, and they're up against this huge empire that has so much that they
Right.
have to be bold. They have to go big, or they will just be slowly chipped away.
Well, it was
Okay.
part of Jin's speech where she
Well-
was like, "You should, now is the time to act. They don't
Yeah.
expect us. They don't think we know what we know. That kind of thing."
Yeah,
Well, hey, speaking of the Empire, Shimano, you mentioned the Empire. Look, the movie's great.
Yes.
We've been
Yeah.
30 minutes now. We've been talking essentially about the rebels. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
Empire for a minute.
Like-
we haven't
Yeah.
hardly talked about
Yes.
True,
Krennic,
that's true.
Tarkin, Vader, nothing.
Dude,
So,
Tarkin, dude.
like
Yes.
honestly, like I don't think I thought for a second. I don't remember if they ever showed them in the trailer, but I don't think I was gonna. I didn't think I was ever gonna see Tarkin or Vader in this movie. Like
No.
if
correct.
I am,
Yes, correct.
like I don't remember specifically the original trailer.
maybe Vader, but Tarkin was like, whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was huge.
Because you could see them mentioning or plugging Vader for
I could see like one random scene and it being like almost destroying
Yeah.
that, but
Which
yeah.
I don't.
we're gonna go watch some trailers later from
Right, yeah.
2016 to figure this out.
Which I don't like the fact we got like Mustafar and director Krennic like coming to Mustafar to have a conversation with Vader, to only have Ben Mendelsohn, who we know his failures of being in charge, with Bane placing his hand on his shoulder in The Dark Knight Rises, telling, "Do you feel in charge?" Only to him saying, "Am I still in command?"
Yes.
Well, guess what? No, you're not. You're not in charge still.
Poor guy
You're-
can't catch
yeah,
a
he
break.
can't catch a break. So yeah, shout out there. But dude, that was an epic scene, man. That was a phenomenal scene.
What was it? I mean, this again. Earlier, we were talking about what this movie meant in 2016, especially to hardcore fans. Like
Right.
seeing Vader on the screen, and, what 2 or 3 scenes, right, in this movie,
Yeah.
and it's like in 2016, and we'll talk about his last scene later.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even just on Mustafar, like you said, like man, like when that ship is coming in, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I know where we're at.
Yeah.
What are we about? There's no way they're gonna give us Vader.
Yeah.
And then literally you see the tank. What's that tank called? The back to tank or whatever.
Yeah, the back to tank, yeah.
And you're just like, oh my gosh, we are about to get Vader here.
And you see it.
And
You
you're hearing
see-
his voice, and kind of snarky. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was
Puts-
good.
Yeah.
Puts Krennic in his place.
Yeah.
Um,
And honestly, this rewatching this in 2025, like the fact that I know, rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Like the fact
Yeah.
that Disney was able to solidify the rights to his voice for future projects. Like I'm excited to see what Darth Vader does.
It's gonna be
moving
pretty-
forward. Like,
pretty
it's
insane.
pretty great.
And it's interesting because like we essentially up until this point we'd only really met like the birth of Vader, and we had met like the end of Vader, but we had never really seen him in his prime.
Correct.
Like,
yes.
you know,
True. Yeah.
so like it's interesting just knowing that, like seeing him.
Oh, we see him in his prime
Yes.
at the end.
Oh,
We'll get
yeah,
there.
100%.
We'll get there. Yeah.
I'm just talking about like even in this, like he's in his prime of his like of his control
his
and his
tyranny, like
yes.
his menaceness,
Yes.
like whatever that is, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it.
It's remarkable, man.
It is.
Okay, so the Empire, again, you know the threat. You see the way they're just controlling things. Like in Jeddah, the stormtroopers, the way they're just doesn't matter who you are, show your papers, show
Yeah.
your documents. You know, like
Yeah.
you from the ground level all the way up through Vader. And we don't get the Emperor in here, but you see all these levels of just the Empire. The lengths that the Rebel Alliance is willing to go to fight the Empire, like
Yeah.
the dream.
Yeah.
Like when Saul's dying and he's like, go with him, run, save the dream.
Yes.
You know, it's like
even the few X-wings that make it into the shield on Scarif,
Yes.
like even those pilots going into that knowing that it's closing behind you, dude.
Yeah.
There's no future
Yep.
for you.
That's it.
That's it. That's what you are going into is what you're getting.
and dude, so when they're there, so what's his face? Krennic, he's at Scarif and they're like, "Sir, what brings you to Scarif?" And he's like, Galen or so, give me every document or whatever, And there's that shot where there's the explosion
Yes.
in the distance, and you just see Krennic's like reaction, and you just like, again, guy can't catch a break. From his perspective, it's like,
Yeah.
what the heck, man, really?
Yeah.
It's like you just know things are about to go down.
Yeah.
When that ship blows up, and the thing is, they've already been on the island for a long time at that point.
Enough
Yeah.
to set detonators
Exactly,
on
exactly.
platforms, right?
Yes.
But then, like, even like they flashed to Vader, and Vader's like,
Tarkin.
Tarkin. He's like, give me Krennic. He's like, he's already on Scarif. Like, he's already there. Like,
Yeah.
and he's in the thick of it already. And there's already this rebel invasion coming on with these like explosions going everywhere. And then I love how Bodhi is like misdirecting them as well. He's like, "Oh, go to Bay 4 or Bay 5," and he's like kind of leading them away on Scarif. Like,
that was
dude,
so good.
that was so deceptive, and like they were
Everybody had a
doing it.
role.
Yes,
Yes.
Everybody had a role in that.
every moment was pivotal. Every moment was a moment to solidify like the future of Star Wars, and
Even-
like you didn't realize it at the time, but like as you go back and watch this, like it's so pivotal,
Dude,
so monumental.
And once again, like every single one of those soldiers they know what they're doing is a selfless act. Like it is.
Yeah. I mean, coming down to like connecting the signal to the ship in order to
Getting it
get
out.
a
Yeah,
transmission back.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh! And he's like pulling that like cable cord
Yeah.
or whatever, and
Yeah, and he's like, I can't make it there right now. He's like, you have to. Like,
Yes.
Andor's like, you have to make it there. Like,
Gotta get it out.
We need to get this transmission out.
everybody, dude, one by one, they all fall.
Yeah.
Even K2SO.
Ah,
Yeah.
dude, I promise you, when I was even rewatching this now in 2025, when K2SO was at that moment, I was like, dude, I
Sacrifices himself.
slammed my desk, my work from home desk. I slammed I slammed that sucker, dude. And I was like, not K2, man. It was so freaking emotional, man. I was like, I wanted to cry. I did,
know.
but like it was just so emotional, man.
Yes, dude. And again, just the whole battle at Scarif,
Yeah.
and then the rebels, like they do show up. The
They do.
Alliance
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
up.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And the fact that they're willing to like get in there.
Yes.
And like it is a great moment for the rebellion
Yes.
as a whole. Like it shows that yes, they might be infighting, but they know
Right.
like when the chips are down, they will be there.
Yeah, like we didn't have Admiral Akbar. We had Admiral Radis, and
Yes.
he was like all about that life, dude. He was
Yeah,
he
he
was
was.
he was in it, man. He's like keep searching the transmissions. Like
Yes.
we will make sure that
And when that moment when Rogue One finally gets through,
yes.
him, it was
Yes,
so
we're,
cool.
we're here for you. Like,
Yes.
let me know. Like,
Yes.
and he's they receive the transmission. They are the ship that receives the
That's
transmission.
right.
And they're the ones that scramble and they get the
Hold
thing.
on. Yeah,
the USB drive, right? Like,
right. We're almost there. We're almost there.
We're getting there.
We're almost there. But I think back in Scarif, like Scarif's going down.
Yes.
Scarif's done.
Done for.
And I love, again, me and my wife were talking about this. I love that Andor and Jin, their last moments, it's just a hug.
Yeah.
It was just, Dude, they didn't have to kiss.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
I just
was-
love that they did that.
It was organic.
Because how many
yes.
movies it ends in a kiss,
Yeah.
Every time.
dude?
But I also like how each character that we've grown to like love had a moment of dang.
Yes. The moment
like,
of sacrifice.
Even like Bodhi, he connects the cable, transmits the thing, and then like they throw a grenade in there, and he blows
goes.
up.
Yeah.
And Chirrut, he has the moment of like the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force as he's walking to this master switch, and he makes it there without being hit by a blaster or scathed or anything, right? And then our boy Baz, he goes and he's like, "No, my buddy is like he's hurt. He's
Sure.
for."
He's screaming
and
out.
he stands up and he then starts reciting, "The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force." And while he's like
mowing people
mowing
down.
freaking people down, dude, he's like
Yeah.
going at it, and then he falls, he collapses, and then we are left with just Jin and Andor as they are first on the column up top on the tower,
Yep.
and then she's like, "No, leave." Director Carrick alone. Like Krennic alone. He's fine. He's fine. And they end up on the beach, and they're just kind of like having that moment together where they're like embraced
Yeah.
and only watch the planet just be destroyed around them.
Yeah, them
It's
just
so incredible.
accepting their fate.
Yes.
Like,
Just like Saul did.
Yeah. Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And then throwing in the fact that like the incredible amount of callousness that is Tarkin in that moment, because you're the what is happening because Tarkin's like, we can't let anyone leave that planet. That planet's got to go.
All the records, everything.
Yes.
Those are all his people down there.
He's like, we
Yes.
can't afford.
By comparison, those are his people. He knows Krennic is down there, a high-level officer in the Empire.
Yeah.
He knows there's an entire garrison of stormtroopers down there.
So
He
good,
knows
man.
there's an entire Empire base down there, and he's still ordering
Yes.
them to destroy everything. Whereas he's willing to destroy things to cover things up, but the rebellion is willing to give up their own lives to bring light to the rebellion.
Amen. That's right.
So good, man.
And so they get the message out.
Final scene here, man, is incredible, man. They get so Admiral Raddus, his ship, right? He gets the USB drive or whatever, right? Like
Floppy
this
disk, really.
Yeah. And they're scrambling, trying to get that thing out, man. And Vader, he shows up, and he's like, breach the ship. They breach the ship. It's pitch black. We get the epic scene of the lightsaber just igniting in full
Yes.
red, not even seeing Vader. Him mowing through this freaking hallway. Yes,
The breathing.
breathing.
Yeah.
Hallway, walking his way down there, using his force, like holding his hand up, and people are just hitting the ceiling.
It's incredible.
Dude, incredible. He's mowing people down, and then the last dude is like hands the freaking floppy disk out to
Through the gap.
through the gap, and they run onto the ship, launch.
Yeah.
They get out of there,
Yeah.
and we then see Leia receive.
Dude, the
disc.
fact that it picks up right
and
there.
we are right there in Episode 4, New
Yeah.
Hope, right at
Yes.
the beginning.
That's how a prequel does it, right
That's
there.
how you do
Yes.
it, man. Why have we not done this before, man? This
Yeah.
is exactly
rocket
how you
science.
do it, man.
It's not rocket science.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. And I was blown away in the movie theater, and I'm still blown away to this exact moment in 2025.
Yeah.
Watching rewatching this movie, I'm still blown away, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely incredible.
So good. Wow, Justin just geeked out right there,
Dude,
man.
I'm here for it, man.
I'm with it.
absolutely here for it.
I'm with it, man. I love that, like, the message got out. And really, like, how close were they to just
Losing
Losing
Like,
it.
It was almost done. Almost
Yes.
everything they
It felt
did
hopeless. It
was
did.
almost literally gone.
yes, Vader's right there.
Yeah.
You know, like if Vader knew he could have just force grabbed that guy,
Yeah, if he had, just
it's done.
Yeah, if he
Right?
just pulled the right guy.
We even see Vader like force grab a ship in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He could have force grabbed the ship that was launching out, but
Yeah,
he
maybe-
didn't.
maybe-
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Disney didn't know he could do that back then, but yeah, dude, it's like it was that close, and the Empire, you know, as far as Tarkin's concerned, they killed everybody, you know.
Yeah. Dude, this movie's fantastic.
I know it's so good.
It's so
man.
good.
It's incredible. It's my favorite Star Wars movie, and it really gets me fired up for Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Season 2.
this should be the Andor recap right here, man. But it's not. Next, dude, we're dropping
going?
We're dropping Andor season 1.
Keep it going. Keep the recording going.
Let's
Talk
go,
about
baby. Let's
no,
go.
We're not. We're not. We're coming back for that. We're coming back for that. No, but we will. We're going to talk about Andor season 1. Next week or two, we're going to drop it. Be on the lookout. But yeah, we are excited. Andor. It's funny. As good as Rogue One is, it's like Andor's right there. Like season 1 of Andor is just
It's up there.
So
talk
good.
about total project.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing.
Yeah, top 5 projects for sure.
Yeah, maybe one of the best shows I've ever watched, and just show. Period. Not just Star Wars or geek
Yeah.
stuff. Just show. Right. So, okay, Rogue One, Disney. Shout out Disney for making an amazing movie. I think we should go watch it again right now. What do you think, Justin?
Why not, man? Let's go.
All right. Big shout out to everybody who tuned in. Want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen and share the podcast with your friends. If you got thoughts on Rogue One or Andor, send us your thoughts. RoyalGeekPodcast@gmail.com. Big shout out also to our friends over at Magic Mind. Head to the website magicmind.com/RoyalLT20 to get 48% off your first subscription or 20% off one-time purchases when you use the code RoyalLT20. So big shout out to Magic Mind. Be sure to join us in the next week or so. We're going to be dropping a review of Andor Season 1 in preparation for Andor Season 2. So, yeah, join us for that. And as always, from my good friends Sandy and Shamato, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you rebel scum.